What's up guys, Ryan B here, this is Right Tech Gaming, and in this video we're taking a look at the Shure Mv7 podcast microphone, which is their microphone that was released about a month ago. Just got my hands on it, but before we get too far into the microphone itself, guys, make sure you do the YouTube stuff. Hit a like on this video, it goes a long way to spreading these videos out to other people across YouTube. We're still a very small channel, and that like really helps us out here with the algorithm. It's much appreciated. Secondly, think about subscribing to the channel if you like content just like this. And lastly, let me know about that intro, what you guys thought about it. Something new that I'm trying, a little more cinematic, a little more commercially. Didn't exactly come out the way that I would want it to. However, let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section down below. So back to the microphone, the Mv7 is one of the more unique microphones that I've got a chance to get my hands on, and it's unique in the fact that you can both hook it up via XLR if you have the equipment for that, or if you don't have the equipment for that, you can also hook it up via just regular USB. It's one of the first and only microphones that I'm aware of that has both of those features added into the same microphone. If there's another one that you guys are aware of, let me know in the comment section down below, because I would love to check that out. Now, of course, I did test the audio in both XLR and USB, so make sure you watch all the way through the video to find out the difference between those two, and you'll probably be pretty surprised at the audio difference. So as far as the box goes and everything you get inside the box, of course, you get the microphone itself, and it does come with this unique little stand here that is threaded, so you can hook it up to a boom arm. No boom arm comes in the box, obviously, it's just the microphone and the stand itself. You can, however, balance this pretty well if you get the little section to land right. You can balance it on your desk like this. However, it's definitely more set up to hook up to a boom arm itself. Lastly, the other things you get in the box is two different USB cables. So you have a USB regular, so USB-A, then you have a USB-C hookup, both in the box as well, along with a bunch of different manuals and quick start guides and all that. So as far as stats go, this microphone is a dynamic microphone, so it's going to give you more of that broadcaster and podcaster kind of feel to it, so more like a radio sound versus a condenser microphone, which is my main microphone. It's going to give you more of a full sound profile. Not that one is necessarily better than the other, they are just different sound profiles, and some would argue that a dynamic microphone is actually better for just speaking. That's why a lot of podcasts use it. Cuts out a lot of background noise and different frequencies that you normally wouldn't want in your sound anyway. Condenser microphones are better for a full studio environment where you can kind of control exactly what you're hearing through the microphone. Next up, it is a cardioid pickup pattern, so that means it's going to pick up sound better in the front of the microphone, a lot less from the sides, and then a lot less from the rear of the microphone. So of course, when you're using it, make sure the microphone itself is pointed towards your mouth on that front end of the microphone. The output impedance is 314 ohms, frequency response range 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, adjustable gain from 0 to plus 36 decibels. It does have a headphone output on the backside of the microphone where you can find the XLR adapter and the USB plug-in, which is micro USB. Now all those specs are good and well on paper, but let's go ahead and actually hear what this microphone sounds like in a real use case in both XLR and USB. So here is the sound test of the Shure Mv7 podcast microphone. I currently have it hooked up via XLR cable running through the Go XLR mixer with these settings that we'll go ahead and throw up on the screen right here. So as far as a noise gate, we do have a noise gate right here set. We have a flat equalizer, so everything is set to 0. That way, when I switch to USB, it'll be pretty comparable. I'll also have a flat equalizer there. I have a slight compressor and then a slight de-esser. In terms of the noise gate, I have the noise gate on to cut back on any sort of computer noise that might be happening in the background. If I turn it off, this is what it sounds like. So now it's off, and you can hear a little bit more fan noise. Go ahead and turn that back on. And here we are in a normal setup. This is exactly how I would have it set if I was streaming with it or playing games or anything with it. The microphone's about 6-7 inches away from my face, as you can see here, just a little distance away. Of course, the microphone pointing at my face, so it's up a little bit towards my mouth. Here's what it would sound like if there were keyboard clicks that are intentionally louder than normal while I'm talking, so you guys can kind of get a feel for how that sounds. Some mouse clicks, again, intentionally louder than they would normally be, just to kind of let you guys hear the pickup on that. When it comes to residual desk noise, if someone wants to hit the desk, hit the boom arm. This one does have kind of a loud boom arm noise if the boom arm is moving. So I'll go ahead and keep that there. Now, if I was to get really, really close to the microphone, you can start to hear more of that kind of deeper, more broadcast kind of sound when you get really close. And of course, when you get further and further away from the microphone, this is how it'll start to hear, and you'll start to hear a fall off at a certain point once I get too far. Now, that's more because of the noise gate that I have set, but that's what it sounds like. Now, if I was to get back into a normal position and I'm using the microphone as normal, but if I get a little bit louder and I try to talk to my teammates because they're doing something stupid, guys, he's literally one shot. He's one shot. Go get him. What are you doing? So if I was to get a little bit closer and more animated, same thing if I get really close. Guys, what are you doing? And I yell into the microphone that close. And that's what the sound sounds like. So that is an overview of the Shure Mv7 when it's hooked up via XLR with, again, the settings that I have on the screen right here for you guys so you can see a difference. So here is the sound test for the Shure Mv7 hooked up via USB, running through the Shure Plus Motive software, which is the software for this microphone. And here are the stats that I have set in the software right here on the screen. So as you can see, we have a mic gain of about 34.5 decibels. The monitor mix in the middle, a flat equalizer to keep it on par with the XLR version. There is no limiter, and there's a light compressor set, so that way we don't peak too much at the high end. Normally, I would probably request more of a medium or a heavy if you scream a lot, depending on how you'd want the setup, but you definitely want this on in case you get a little bit more animated and a little bit more loud with the microphone. So here it is in a normal setup as if I was playing games or streaming with the microphone. It's a good like 6 inches away from my mouth, pointed directly to my mouth. For the best setup, you definitely want the front end pointed towards your mouth. Now you can also hear some background noise, so here are some louder than normal keyboard clicks while I'm talking, so you guys can kind of feel how that sounds. And of course, keyboard clicks without me talking. And then some mouse clicks while talking. And then mouse clicks while I'm not talking. So this is what it's going to sound like if I get a little bit closer to the microphone, where I'm like right on top of it, almost trying to eat the microphone. As you can kind of hear, it's going to get more deeper and a little bit more of that broadcaster sound. It might peak a little bit as well. A heavier compressor will help that. And of course, as we start to get further and further away from the microphone, this is what it's going to start sounding like as I'm still talking, but moving further and further from the microphone. Now, as we move closer and closer to the microphone, it'll get the opposite effect of getting louder and louder, depending until you get really close to the microphone. Now let's hear what it sounds like if I was going to get a little bit louder in game. Guys, he's literally one shot. He's one shot. Go get him. And if I was going to get really close, because I'm really irritated with my teammates. Guys, what are you doing? He's one shot. Go get him. So this is the sound test of the Shure Mv7 hooked up via USB with, again, these settings on the screen here with their Motive software. So that right there wraps up the audio quality test of both XLR hookup and USB hookup. Guys, in the comment section down below, let me know exactly which one you preferred. Now, there are a few last things to be aware of with this microphone. There are capacitive touch buttons in the front end of the microphone. One where you can mute the microphone. There's a volume slider to adjust microphone gain or headphone volume. And then there's a button on the other side to switch between either the microphone volume or the headphone volume. Now, if you are going to be using any of those capacitive touch buttons, you will need to have it hooked up via USB, and you will need to run it through the Motive app if you're running it via USB. Now, as far as software goes, the software is actually very, very user-friendly, very quick to set up. Just a few different options with a few different equalizer settings and a few different buttons to click on depending on how you want it set up. So it's very fast, very easy to use. I'm actually pretty impressed with their software. A lot of times you'll have companies run through software that's just way too complicated. This one is very streamlined and just quick and to the point. So lastly, this microphone will run you $250, which by no means is cheap. It is definitely an expensive microphone. However, you do get a lot of microphone for that price point. It is a very high quality microphone. The audio quality is fantastic in both USB or XLR. The build quality is amazing, full-on metal construction pretty much everywhere. It's built like a tank. It feels very sturdy, like it's not gonna break on you even if you dropped it a few times, which I don't suggest with a microphone. You don't wanna drop it. It looks good. To me, it doesn't look great, but it definitely doesn't look like a bad microphone. And I think it is in a very unique spot in the market because you can hook up via both USB and XLR. So I think it's great for someone that's looking to spend a lot of money for a microphone and then waiting till later to upgrade for a full-on mixer to hook it up via XLR cable. So I think for that, I would definitely recommend this microphone for pretty much anyone. who was looking for a great microphone that has a decent amount of budget, because again, it's not a cheap microphone by any means. However, it is a very high quality microphone and you're not gonna be mad about the sound in this thing. And if you are looking to spend a good amount of money and then upgrade later to a full-on like studio setup for a full-on mixer and all that, this microphone is fantastic for that. So guys, make sure you do the YouTube stuff, like this video, comment down below if you like this microphone, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and then of course, click on some relevant content right here.